I'll say hello, good morning. Welcome to Chamber Live. This week's edition is called Secrets and Lies. There is no secret formula for success, hosted for us by Paul Lim from Action Coach in Bolton. The views expressed in this webinar don't necessarily represent the views of the East Lancs Chamber of Commerce, although we normally agree with our speakers. But all facts were believed to be correct at the time of recording, which was on the 1st of July 2020. So if you're watching this in 2050 on YouTube, or whatever the YouTube of the future is called, it was all accurate at the time. Now, let's meet our guest speaker. Our presenter today is Paul Lim, owner and managing director of Lancashire Business Growth Limited, which is better known as Action Coach Bolton. Paul's been coaching for many years, and today he just wants to share some business basics with you that are definitely not a secret. Over to you, Paul.
Thanks, Simon. Good morning to everybody. All you need is a good cup of tea. That's the only thing you need. So as long as you got a good cup, as long as you got a good brew, we'll be all right. So my name's Paul Lim. As Simon said, I'm the managing director of a company called Lancashire Business Growth. A couple of years ago, Lancashire Business Growth bought a license for Action Coach, and we'll tell you a little bit more about Action Coach and about me in a second. This is what we're going to talk about today over the next 45-50 minutes or so. There's going to be some space at the end for questions if anybody's got any. Please make sure you've got a pad and a pen, preferably coloured pens because it helps you to remember things more effectively. And if you do have any burning questions that you want to ask as we're going along, stick them into the chat box. And Simon, if you can just, and Jenny, if you can just shout those out just that there's a question. That'd be great, just so we can crack on and get through things. The most important thing is obviously that you take some notes as we're going along. So first of all, this is what we're going to talk about. A bit about me, a bit about Action Coach. We're going to talk about four areas of business basics, business mastery that you need in any business. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about sales and marketing, and 5 ways that if you focus on those, you can make a real impact on your profits. Finish off with sort of next steps that you can take. I have a warning for you though, and that warning is quite simple. Attending webinars, workshops, training, all this kind of stuff doesn't work. Doesn't work at all, unless you do something about it afterwards. You know, I do a lot of workshops and training, and over the years, you know, I've seen a lot of people take notes and then they go, that was really, really good. And then they put those notes in the pad, put the pad in a drawer, and then get on with life, get back on the hamster wheel of business and forget all about them. So the only way this is going to work is if you take notes, record action points, set goals, and then do something about it afterwards. So I'm a coach, so all of my clients at the end of each session that we have, or each webinar or workshop that we have, always have action points and goals that they take away that they're then held accountable for. So if you want to be held accountable, tell me what your goals are at the end, and then we'll have another conversation a little bit further down the line to see how you're getting on with them. So first of all, this is me. I'm a dog dad, love traveling. I'm a private pilot, love my friends, and that picture on the right is where I live. It's taken about 50 yards from my front door. Business is about giving you more life, and that's my purpose, my passion with all the business owners that I work with. I see so many business owners that it's not like they're on the hamster wheel of business. They're caught in the owner's trap. You know, they're doing all the work and they've reached some kind of plateau, some kind of glass ceiling, and they just can't break through. So my job as a coach is to help business owners become better business owners so they can create better businesses. Somebody told me a little while ago, Paul, your business will only rise to the level of your incompetence as a business owner. And that's true of all of us. In order to have a better business, I've got to become a better business owner. So I'm constantly learning. I've been coaching for over 30 years. I started in a high performance, high pressure sports environment. I was a skydiving coach and a skydiving instructor. So that's me. We can't tell, you're gonna have to trust me on this, but the guy in the middle with the blue helmet on, that's me. I would take people like you on a Saturday morning who thought they were gonna die on a Saturday afternoon and convince them that it was perfectly reasonable to throw themselves out of a perfectly serviceable aeroplane from 2,500 feet. And most of the time, people actually wanted to get out when it got to tea time on a Saturday afternoon and we were at 2,500 feet. We did have the occasional person that we needed to assist to leave. If, you know, we're not allowed to throw people out, but as long as they ask for a bit of help, we're allowed to do that. not that they ever remember whether they've been helped when we get back down on the ground or not. So I've been in marketing and sales all of my business career, in larger Fortune 500 companies and family-owned companies. I ended up as the sales manager for the global and multinational accounts team of a Fortune 500 company, a global company, which meant I was away from home 4 or 5 nights a week, got fed up with that, ended up working for a company in Bolton. And then we pulled the loss-making division of that company out, formed a new company, which I was co-owner and managing director of. We took that from loss-making to profit-making, from 750,000 to about 1.4 million in the space of 3 years. So I've been managing director, co-owner of that company. I'm now managing director and owner of Lancashire Business Growth, which bought a license which costs somewhere between an expensive car and a small house for Action Coach. And the reason that we bought into Action Coach, and the reason that why we believe Action Coach works for all of our clients, there's a few reasons. First of all, it's a knowledge bank. Action Coach has been around for 26 years. It's a global organisation. We've got over 1,100 coaches now, actually, in 88 countries around the world. So there's a combined knowledge bank there. If there's something that I don't know, a particular challenge that I've not come across before, then if we ask on the forums, we'll get a dozen different answers within an hour or two, depending on time differences, from our knowledge bank of coaches around the world. We've got a toolbox of systems and strategies that's been tested over 26 years with over 500,000 businesses. So we know they work, absolutely know they work. And because we're that confident that we know that what we do works, we offer a complete return on investment guarantee. So whatever program somebody's on, 6 months down the line, if you've not had a return on in the investment you've made, we guarantee that. So I'll get my checkbook out and write a check out for the difference, or I'll work with you for free until you do it. It's up to you. So coaching, for me, I always believe coaching should be free. You should get a return on the investment that you're making in coaching, because you should become a better business owner and get more life back and get more profit into your business. So I want to talk to you about the 2 most dangerous words in business, and they're quite simple. I know. Who's got teenage children? Anybody got teenage children? Anybody not got kids? Anybody not sure? No, well, teenage kids, you'll hear this time and time again, I'm guessing, from the guys who just have a nod. If you hear this all the time, yeah, I know. Arms folded, Dad, I know. And what happens when they start saying that? They stop listening, don't they? They stop listening. So it's like pressing the remote control on your car and the wing mirror is going in like that. You just stop listening. So if you hear yourself today saying, I know, then instead of folding your arms, sitting back and going, I know all this, because you do, think about it in a different way. Try saying, isn't that interesting? Challenge it, look at it, examine it, question it. Because none of what we do is rocket science. Nothing we do is rocket science. And the chances are most of it you know already. So my question to you is, what stops you doing what you need to do? Or who? And the answer to that question is often, it's you as the business owner. You know, you have mindset and limiting beliefs that stop you doing the things you need to do to move your business forwards. So my next question to you is this: does business ever feel like this to you sometimes? Anybody? Bit of a roller coaster? It certainly does for me from time to time. You know, we all have ups and downs in business, and the last 3 months has been a particular roller coaster for a lot of people. Do you ever hear yourself saying, I'm too busy? Too busy to learn, too busy to see somebody, too busy to go and talk to somebody about getting some help with my business, just too busy to do the things I need to do to work on my business because I'm too busy working in my business. You ever struggling for profit, struggling for money? Or sometimes you just sit there going, help. Help. Wile E. Coyote is one of my favourite cartoon characters ever, I have to say. Brilliant. Lovely. Well, I've got some great news for you. Great news. Who's ever done a 5-day challenge? Anybody? No, surely somebody has here. So most people I speak to have done one at some point. You know, there's all sorts of things like this around. You know, all sorts of different business secrets, 5-day challenges leading to a £1,500 masterclass, all sorts of different things that you can go on. And, you know, I go on a lot of these sort of free webinars and different things that lead, you know, from that are sponsored on Facebook and various places, that lead to, you know, multi-million-pound sort of business gurus who want your money. But there are no secrets. There are no secrets. All of the information that you need is out there on the internet, or with business consultants, business coaches. All the stuff you need, you can find if you've got time on Google. You don't need to spend a fortune on 5-day challenges, 10-day challenges, masterclasses, and all this kind of stuff. So actually, there is no secret. Just some simple guidelines, some simple frameworks for you all to follow. And this is a framework that we use worldwide within Action Coach. It's not a secret. You can find this in multiple different places all over the internet, and ask any coach and they'll quite happily share all this with you. And we'll do coaching sessions for free with people after this if they want us to. And this framework has 6 levels to it, in terms of helping business owners to become better at each level, teaching and supporting people through each level of this, so they get better at business. The first level is all about business basics. Business mastery is about the business basics. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. The second level is around marketing and sales, and we're going to talk some more about that as well, and how to increase your profits. The third level is about leverage and systems within your business. If you want one of the things that we always say, and this will link to what Celia talks about next week from the Wellbeing Forum. Celia, I'd recommend anybody watches that webinar next week. I know Celia really well. We only live a few minutes away from each other. Celia's as mad as a box of frogs, but she's built a brilliant business at the Wellbeing Forum, I have to say. And she'll be brilliant next week, I'm sure. So systems is about leverage. It's about doing more with less in your business. You know, if you're doing everything in your business, then your business will reach a glass ceiling. There's only so much time that you've got. So it's about leveraging your time. You doing the things which are really important to your business and getting systems in place to take care of the other stuff, and your team in place to run those systems. So people run systems, systems run a business. The next level is all about recruiting great people into your business, motivating in the right way, and getting the right people with the right attitude in your business. Synergy is about what you do once you've got a business that's working and how you replicate that. And freedom is what you do with your life once you've got a commercial, profitable enterprise that can work without you being there. So let's look at business mastery, that first level. The first area is what we call destination. So what I'd encourage you to do is on your pad, just write down destination, and then I'm going to ask you to give yourself a score out of 10 in a minute on destination. You could call it direction, because this is all about planning. I'm going to describe to you what a really successful business owner will look like in terms of how they deal with destination. So they will have a long-term vision for their business. They'll have a vision and mission and a culture already set in place for the business. They will have a 3 to 5 year goal for the business. And that 3 to 5 year goal may be about what they want their business to look like in 3 to 5 years. Physically having an organizational structure in place. It may be around turnover and gross profit and net profit. What do you want those numbers to look like in 3 to 5 years' time? The reason we talk about long-term vision is because you need to start with the end in mind. You know, as I mentioned before, I fly, I'm a private pilot. If I take off from Barton in Manchester from the airport there, and I've got my chart on my knee, but I haven't marked on where my destination is, how am I ever going to get there? So you've got to know where you're going in order to be able to build a plan on how to get there. So having a 3 to 5 year goal for your business is really important. Now, you can't plan in vast amounts of detail for 5 years because lots of things can happen. So the next thing to have a better 1 year plan, a more detailed 1 year plan, a 12 to 18 month plan with the major goals on it for that, which are going to help you towards your longer term goal. So have a 1 year plan with your goals that will help you achieve your 3 to 5 year goal for your company. But again, a lot of things can happen in a year, as we've seen over the last 3 months. So then on top of that, having an even more detailed 90-day plan. All of our clients, once a quarter, take a day out of the business and build a 90-day plan for the business with the key goals, anywhere from 1 to 5 goals, and then plan out the tasks that they need for each of those goals, week by week. So they've got a really clear plan of what they're going to do over the next 13 weeks in the business. How powerful is that to understand, have that level of clarity and focus in your business, understand what you're going to be doing each week in the next 13 weeks. And we always encourage our people to have a weekly plan and a daily plan on top of that, just so they can check the tasks that they need to do in those. So that sounds like a lot of planning, but if you can get more clarity and focus around your planning, it will help you massively. If you look at some of the best business leaders in the world, one of the things that sets them apart is their absolute focus on how they spend their time. They can account for every minute of every day that they spend in their working environment. So think about what you're doing right now and give yourselves a score out of 10 for how you're doing right now on that. The next area is around time management. And for business owners, you know, we've just talked about having absolute clarity on how you spend your time. There's some great tools out there to help you do that. We've got, you know, a number of tools that we help our clients with. Most of our business owners, it won't surprise you to know, when they first start working for us, working with us, I should say, have a challenge around time. You know, they'll often say to us before they even become clients, I haven't got time to talk to you. I want, you know, I'm interested, but I haven't got time to talk to you right now. I've got too much going on in my business. So my question back to you guys is this: how much do you think that's costing you and your business right now? Not being in control of your time. We've all got 168 hours in every week. How you spend that time can have a massive impact on you and your business. You know, we said at the beginning, business is about giving you more life, not about you giving your life to the business. So time, how much time are you spending working on your business as opposed to working in your business? Now, for those who aren't sure, working in your business is everything, including marketing, sales, converting those into customers, all the operational stuff that you do, whatever business you're in, HR, administration, finance, all of that is working in the business. As the business owner, they're working on the business stuff, the stuff which is important. There's a great book by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you haven't read it, I'd highly encourage you to read that. He talks about the difference between the stuff which is important to the the stuff which is urgent to the day-to-day running of your business, all the stuff working in the business, and important to the growth of you and your business. So the difference between urgent and important. So the working on the business stuff is the important stuff. Setting the strategy, looking at new strategies, learning how to get better. You know, being here today on this webinar isn't urgent. Your business isn't going to stop working because you didn't attend this webinar, but it is important to your growth and to the growth of you and your business. So there's certain things you can do. So looking at urgent and important is one. Doing a to achieve list is another great way of doing this. So we have a daily to achieve list. I'll show you mine if you can see me on your screen right now. So you can see mine. So that's from yesterday. You know, everything's on there and ticked off. So if you've got a lot of stuff on your to achieve list, then prioritize it. I use a simple ABC kind of system. And I ask myself some simple questions. Is this task going to make me money immediately? If it is, then it's an A. B tasks are, is this going to make me money? Maybe not right now, but in the near future. The C tasks are, is this going to cost me money if I don't do it? And then the D's are all the rest. So prioritize them like that. And then if you've got lots of A's, then prioritize what's going to make me the most money in the quickest amount of time. So doing a to achieve list is a great way to help you with focus on your time. If you're not sure how much time you're spending on different things, then I'd also encourage you to do a super quick time study. Now, a super quick time study is just get a piece of paper, split it into 7 columns, split it into 15-minute chunks, and then just for a week, be absolutely honest with yourself and marking in those 15-minute chunks what you're doing. whether it's marketing, sales, operations, finance, HR, whatever it happens to be. Don't go mad with loads and loads of descriptions and intense descriptions. Just split it into 5 or 6, 7 or 8 sections so you can see at the end of the week how much time you're spending on each of those sections. You have to be absolutely brutally honest with yourselves though. And if you've got unproductive time, you know that time where you sit down and you start flicking through YouTube and that kind of stuff, then put it down as unproductive time. I guarantee you will find some time that you're not spending productively during your working day at the moment. And one of the other things that we talk about a lot is procrastination. Anybody put stuff off tomorrow that they could do today? Maybe people won't own up to that one. You know, if you've got a difficult task, maybe if you've got a difficult phone call to make, just, you know, people will put off that phone call. They'll sit down at the desk, they'll go, I'll just make myself a quick brew first. And they go to pick the phone up, then they'll go, I'll just check my emails next. And then they'll click on an email, they'll click on a link, and an hour and a half later, they're looking at fluffy cats on YouTube. You know, I think we've all done that at some point. So on our to achieve list, we have a box at the top for those who procrastinate, and we call that your daily frog. And that comes from Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, which comes from Mark Twain saying, which is if you eat a live frog at the start of every day, nothing that day will be more difficult. So if you've got a difficult task or something you don't like doing, do it first. Stick it in the box at the top and do it first. Get it out of the way. Because if you take that difficult phone call, you know, what's happening in your mind the longer you put that phone call off? It's just getting more and more difficult. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger the more you think about it. And chances are, eventually, when you make that phone call at 2:30 in the afternoon rather than 9 o'clock in the morning, you come off the phone and go, oh, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, is it? And the person on the other end of the phone is probably thinking, don't know why they didn't call me at 9 o'clock this morning. We could have got that sorted in 2 minutes. So the longer you leave it, the bigger it gets. The quicker you do it, the more productive you're going to be for the rest of the day. I'm just going to have a quick sip of my brew. So challenge yourself on time. Look at how much time you're spending on the business as opposed to in the business. Give yourself a score out of 10 on how you're spending your time at the moment. The next area is around delivery. Now, people would normally score themselves higher on this, and it's partly about customer experience. I don't like saying customer satisfaction because satisfaction is the bare minimum. If you go to a restaurant, when restaurants are eventually open again, if you go to a restaurant and sit down, what's the bare minimum you expect from that restaurant at the end of the evening? You expect to be satisfied, don't you? So for me, customer satisfaction surveys are satisfaction is the bare minimum you should possibly expect. I want my clients to be raving fans of my business. I want to have them to have the most amazing customer experience every time they come and visit us. But it's about how we measure that. If you're not measuring how amazed and happy your clients are at the services and products they get from you, then you need to start measuring it. One of the key areas that a potential acquirer of your business looks at is your customer experience, your customer satisfaction, if you will. We'll call it satisfaction. And they'll look at things like net promoter scores. And if you're not measuring, then that will really mark the value of your company down. If you are measuring but the really low experience scores, then that will mark the value of your company down. Because when somebody acquires a company, they're investing in future profits. So they want to know that your clients are going to repurchase from you and they're going to refer you to other people. So, and it's something like 5 to 7 times cheaper to resell to an existing client than it is to go out and find a new client. So measuring your customer experience and how happy your customers are at the moment is really important to your business. If that score is going down, then you need to work on it. If your score starts to go up because you're doing things, then that's fantastic. One of the things we talk about is testing and measuring every aspect of your business. So are you measuring that right now? But delivery is all about how easy is it for people to find you and your business? You know, if somebody's interested in your products and services, how easy is it for them to find you? And then how easy is it for them to communicate with you? How easy is it for them to speak to you? How easy is it for them to actually buy from you? How easy is it for them to pay you? You know, it might be quite simple, but a client of mine we first started working with them, they had plenty of people visiting the website and wanting to buy stuff, but their payment system was really clunky, and it put a lot of people off. People were getting to that point and stopping. So how easy is it for people to buy from you? So all of these elements build into delivery. And how easy is it for them to leave feedback for you and for you to measure that and learn from that? So give yourselves a score out of 10 on where you think you are now. And then the final area, finance and money. Who loves doing the finances? Who loves doing the books? Not many. You know, there's plenty of surveys out there that talk about SME business failures, and you know, one of my key roles is to reduce that number, because the number at the moment is currently running in the first 5 years, around, depending on which survey you look at, because you know what statistics are like, between 75 and 80% of businesses, SME businesses, fail in the first 5 years. And the number one reason for that is business owners not knowing the numbers and not having a grasp of the numbers in the business. Interestingly enough, in the next 5 years, so in years 5 to 10, another 80% of that remaining 20% fail. And that's usually due to business owner burnout, because they're still stuck on the hamster wheel of business, working in the business all the time, saying, it wasn't meant to be like this. That's a good title for a book, isn't it? I'm writing a book called It Wasn't Meant to Be Like This, by the way. So we're looking at finances is key in your business. So turnover, gross profit, net profit. Do you understand the difference between gross profit and net profit? Are you using a great accounting system? Another one of the things that potential acquirers look at, they obviously look at your turnover and your profit, but they'll look at how the efficacy of your accounting systems. You've got to have great accounting systems in place, or they won't trust the numbers, and again, they'll mark you down and probably won't buy your company. So you've got to have great accounting systems in place. Do you set yourself KPIs on the key numbers in your finances, on turnover, on gross profit and net profit? Are you constantly trying to drive your net profit up by reducing your overheads? Are you constantly trying to drive your gross profit up by reducing the costs from suppliers and looking at your variable costs? Do you have a really good handle on your debtor days? Do you know what your debtor day number is? And have you got plans and strategies in place to reduce your debtor days? Do you know when you break even in your business? How powerful is it to know at what time in the month you break even and start making money? You know, and if that day starts moving towards the end of the month, then you've got some challenges. If it starts moving forwards, then you're doing something right and do more of it. So there's loads of key areas around money in your business that we work with our clients as well. You know, over all these 4 areas, but particularly on money as well. So give yourself a score out of 10 now on where you think you are in terms of controlling your finances, having a financial dashboard, understanding your P&L, having a cash flow forecast, understanding your debtor days, understanding when you break even each month, all those kind of things. And just have a quick hands up, who's got a score out of 10 in each of those 4 areas? Great stuff, let's move on. So the next area is marketing and sales. That's second level. And what we're trying to get to is a point where all of our businesses, all of our clients are in a situation where they don't have price competition. You know, if you're in price competition with all of your major competitors, then it's just a race to the bottom. You know, you start there, they go there, you go there, they go there, you go there, and you're just not going to make much profit. You're never going to be a profitable business that can reinvest and grow to the level that you want to. You know, even if you look at the likes of Amazons of this world, where they're stacking it high and selling it cheap, they've got differentiators in their business that sets them apart from the competition. So the first areas to look at on this second level are what we call USP. You've probably heard of a unique selling proposition or a unique value proposition, and looking at guarantees. What is it that sets you apart? What sets you and your company apart from your competitors in the marketplace? Imagine that you were working in some kind of utopian society where all the products and services you provided were free, and then you got paid by the government on the number of customers that you acquired. What would it be about your products and services that sets you apart so all of your potential clients come to you rather than to competitor B, C, and D down the road? Why would they come to you? And if it's just about you, then think about your company and what those values need to be for your company that's going to set you apart, so people will want to come to you and will be willing to pay more to come to you. Because we don't want you in a position where you're just in price competition, because you will never grow your business to the level that you'd like to have a commercial profitable business that can work without you, if you're constantly just doing the lowest quote. And then guarantees are the next area that you need to. Guarantees are really, really powerful for people, really powerful. I'll give you a quick example. If you've been to any of the other workshops and webinars, you'll have heard this. We have a builder who's a client, and we asked the builder what it was about his business that made his clients come to him rather than to somewhere else. And he said, it's because I do the lowest quote. And I said, have you asked them? Said, well, no, it's because we do the lowest quote. We know we do the lowest quote. We get some price comparisons. We see other people's quotes, and we know we do the lowest quotes. So, right, well, have you asked your clients what was important to them when choosing a builder? And we said, well, we know we haven't really. Okay. So what are you going to do? He said, well, we're going to go and ask them. All right, because he knew they wouldn't let it go until we did. So they did a survey of all their current and former clients and asked them what was it about them, or what were they looking for, what were the important factors for them in choosing a builder. And price was on there, but price was about number 4 or 5 on the list. So there were things like, in fact, let's just have a quick in the chat box, see if you can put some ideas about what people thought were important to them when choosing a builder. Let's have a look what you put in the chat box. Recommendations, trustworthy and reliable, yeah, all that came into it. Quality of work, workmanship, yeah. Reliability, recommendations, timescales, service, all important stuff. Professionalism, qualifications, yeah. All of that was quantifiable sort of stuff, but the biggest things that came out of that survey were turning up on time, not disappearing in the middle of a job. You know, builders have a bad rep for disappearing halfway through a job, don't they? Leaving a mess. Builder's bum, you know, for family sort of environments, builder's bum, and swearing. Bad language on site if they were doing it at family homes and doing extensions and stuff for families who had kids. So they built a guarantee on the bottom of every quote that they did. Big red box at the bottom with our guarantee. And then it said, we guarantee we will always arrive on time or up to 10 minutes before the time we've arranged with you. We guarantee we will never leave site in the middle of a job unless it's by prior arrangement because other services need to come on and we can't be there while they're working. We guarantee that you will never hear our builders swear and you will never see them dressed inappropriately. And we guarantee that we will always leave your premises as tidy or tidier than when we arrived. How powerful is that? So they put that on the bottom of every quote that they sent out. They didn't change anything else. They didn't change the pricing. They didn't change the way they did the quotes. We worked on that later. Their conversion rate from quote to order went up by 25%. 25%. Just on the basis that that guarantee was on there. So what does that tell you about building great guarantees? So they then put the prices up by 10% on the back of that, and they maintain their conversion level. So that tells you that the pricing was too low to start with, because they were providing an amazing service. So not only were they making more profit, but they were having a higher conversion rate. Their team, as a second level to this, their team became self-managing because he started giving them a bonus based on nobody claiming against the guarantee. So they were looking after themselves. They were doing a great job, and the business, you know, flourished and flourished. So think about what guarantees you can put in place for your organisation, which aren't going to cost you money. So we're going to look at 5 ways now to increase your profits. The key to this, though, is testing and measuring in each area. So you'll hear me say this over and over again for the next few minutes. So when I talk to clients, and I'm sure you're the same, if you talk to business owners and you ask them what they want more of, most people will say they want more customers, they want more revenue or turnover, and they want more profit. Is that true for everybody? Everybody want more customers, more profit, more revenue, yeah? So those are 3 key areas, but they're all dependent on doing other things within your business. So all of our clients, with our help, focus on 5 key areas in the business. And those 5 areas are these: the number of leads, how they get their leads, lead generation, their conversion rate, so sales, how you convert those leads into customers, the number of transactions, the average number of transactions that each business or each person makes with you, each of your customers makes with you, and the average sale value of those invoices. How do you increase the average sale value? And then looking at your gross profit margins and how to impact on that. I'm going to give you an imaginary example just to help. So if you get a business that gets 4,000 leads and 25% of those convert into customers, that gives you 1,000 customers. If each of those customers on average transacts with you twice a year, some will be more, some will be less, and on average spends £100, again, some could be more, some could be less, that gives you a revenue of £200,000. If your gross profit margin is 25%, that gives you a profit of £50,000. Makes sense to everybody, that, doesn't it? It's quite easy to understand that. So then we start looking at each of these areas and we get people to test and measure what they're actually doing right now. So who measures the number of leads that they've got coming into the business right now? You can score yourselves out of 10 on these if you want to. So surprisingly, not everybody's got a measure for the number of leads they're getting. And as surprisingly, not everybody measures each individual strategy that they have to see how well that individual strategy is doing. So we start by getting a base measurement on how many leads you're getting per week or per month, and which strategies are producing leads and how much those strategies cost in terms of an investment and in terms of time. So we do more of what's working and we do less of what's not working, or we change it until we get it to work. And then we might start to add one new strategy at a time into that. So do you think it's reasonable over the period of a year to get a 10% increase in the number of leads that you're looking at? I can tell you, if all you do is focus and look at the number of leads you're getting, do more of what works, do less of what doesn't, then you can have an increase in the number of leads. But if then you can start adding new strategies into it, 10% is the bare minimum you're going to get. So just have a quick hands up. Do you think it's reasonable to get a 10% increase over the period of a year? Just for those who are interested, our #1 strategy with every single client is an active client referral strategy. Not just sitting back and waiting for somebody to refer you, but actually asking your clients to refer you and putting an incentive into place to get them to refer you. I haven't got time to go into detail on it now, but just remember, an active referral strategy. It's the cheapest way to do it and it's the most effective, gets us the best results. But you've got to be active about it and go out and ask people to refer you. So a 10% increase would be 4,400 leads. If we can then work on conversion rate, so do some work on your sales process, on the customer touch points, on how often you get sales training, do you have sales scripts in place, do you test and measure those sales scripts, are you getting better and better at that all the time? Again, look at what works, what doesn't work. Give you a quick example on that. We have a tyre dealer, an independent tyre dealer, a bit like the ATSs and National Tyre Services of this world, and he's got guys on the phone who take phone calls. And if you want a new tyre on your car, chances are you'll probably ring up and say how much for a Michelin 1.5 times 2.38. I don't know what they're called, but you know what I mean. And then they'll say, yeah, well, that's 185 quid. And you go, thanks, bye. Put the phone down and ring a couple more up just to see. So we asked him what his conversion rate was between those phone calls and people coming into the garage and ordering. And he didn't know, and he guessed at 55%. He reckoned just over half the people who rang up would place an order and go with it. So we put a simple sales script. We measured it first, and his actual conversion rate when we measured it was 17%. So you can imagine as a business owner, he's pulling his hair out. As a business coach, we're going, yeah, that's fantastic. You can have a big impact on a 17% conversion rate. So we put a simple sales script into place. And I'd encourage you all, in your initial inquiry from somebody the first time you speak to them, if they say to you, how much is this? You say to them, simple sales script that says, love to help you with that. In order to understand how to help you best, can I ask you a couple of quick questions first? And then you ask them questions around quality, so for this guy, it was about, was it a lot of motorway driving, or local driving? How long were they planning on keeping the car? you know, what was his driving style, how many miles, all sorts of different questions, just based around how they could work out the best quality of tyres to give them. So the customer knew they were taken care of and getting the best possible job they could, and the guys in the garage knew they were going to provide them with the best possible solution to their particular tyre challenge, if you will. And their conversion rate went up. Their conversion rate went up from 17% to 49%. So his next challenge was taking care of all the stuff in the workshop that was coming in, but you know, that's a separate story. So if you can work on your conversion rate, get that up by 10%, that'll give you a conversion rate of 27.5%. That gives you 1,210 customers. That's already a 21% increase in the number of customers you're getting. The next area is how to get them to transact more often. So think about what they're buying from you and what they're not buying from you. With our one-to-one clients, we often go out and do customer visits with their customers and them. So we'll go and sit down with the client and with their customer. And one of the things I'll say to them is, look, our client does A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. What do you buy? And you know, what do you know about? He says, well, I buy A and B and C. I know about D and E, but I didn't know about F and G. And if I knew about G 3 weeks ago, I could have bought 1,000 of those widgets. Invariably, that happens when we go and do these client visits, because the customers don't know everything that you can possibly do. So how often do you communicate with your existing client base? A database is gold dust. If you haven't got a database of your existing and former clients, then start putting it together, because they are absolute gold dust. It's much cheaper to sell to your existing client base. So start looking at communicating more often with your clients, making sure you sell everything that you do out of your portfolio to them, and start looking at how you can get them to buy more often. Communicating with your clients is key. Just talking to them. How often do you call them? How often do you email them? And there's lots and lots. We've got probably, I think, 60 odd different strategies for keeping in, for increasing average transactions within business. So if you can increase that by 10%, and then increase the average sale value by 10%. Do you want to know the easiest way to increase your average sale value? It's really easy, this one. Get your pens ready, write this down. Increase your prices by 10%. Dead simple. Increase your prices by 10%. Already told you about the builder increases prices. We found when we've done surveys of our existing clients, 95% of the customers say nothing at all. 95% of customers say nothing. The 5% who do complain are the ones who complain about everything. They're the customers who pay late, the customers who are time vampires, the ones who suck all your time as business owners up, the ones who you'd rather not have if you could help it. So if you want a strategy to get rid of those customers that you don't want, put your prices up by 10%. And then when they come and say, no, I'm not going to do that, give them a list of your 3 biggest competitors and pass the ones who are horrible customers on to your competitors. Because if you put your prices up by 10%, then you can afford, depending on what your gross profit is, you can afford to lose a chunk of revenue and still make the same amount of profit. You know, if you've got, I can't remember the exact numbers now, I think it's if you've got a gross profit margin of 30% and you put your prices up by 10%, I'm guessing now, I think it's around about 25, you can afford to lose 25% of your turnover and still make the same amount of profit. You can get the same amount of profit doing less work with less awkward customers. So you can then look to grow the customers who are making you more profit. There's another 80 odd strategies around increasing your average sale value, add-on sales, all that kind of stuff. This is where people start to get the calculators out because they don't believe this number. If you can do all of that, then that's a 46% increase in your revenue. By focusing on those 4 key areas in your business, doing more of what works, doing less of what doesn't, and then adding on a new strategy every now and again in each area, but being focused on it, testing and measuring. That's 46% increase. If you're doing all those 4 things, it's going to have an impact on your gross profit margin. But if you start looking at negotiating with suppliers to reduce your supply costs, look at selling more of what makes you more gross profit and less of what makes you less gross profit, then you can have an immediate impact on your profit margin as well. Just understanding which products and services you have make you the most gross profit is a great starting point as well, because some people don't know. And we've had, I've seen businesses who've marketed themselves almost out of business because they've marketed fast selling lines which are really low margin. So they're making them low margin and they're running out of money rather than focusing on the stuff that makes them bigger margins. So if you do that, that'll give you £80,525 worth of profit in this example, and that's a 61% increase. 61% increase in your gross profit. Just by focusing on those 5 key areas, looking at what works, what doesn't. Give yourself some scores out of 10 in each of those 5 areas to how well you're measuring each of those 5 areas at the moment, and how much you're focusing on each of those 5 areas. This is one of the things that we do constantly with our clients, hold them accountable for these numbers and help them with new strategies to do more. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of our time. So real quick whistle stop tour. So we've got 4 areas of business basics: your planning, your destination, how you're managing your time, looking at some time tools to help you manage your time more effectively, looking at delivery, how easy is it for people to find you, to communicate with you, to buy from you, to pay you, and how are you measuring customer experience, and looking at your finances and building a dashboard with some key numbers, and then looking at your what your differentiators are, what your guarantees are, and then looking at these 5 key areas of your business that will impact directly on your profit. Anybody got any questions so far? Just while you're thinking about that, if you've got any questions, then next steps. First of all, let's connect. If you either want to take a quick screenshot of this or just write it down. So please connect. I'll put this back up at the end if anybody's interested. I have got a feedback form. Every single webinar we do, we ask people just to complete a quick feedback form. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. And I'm looking to constantly get better every time I do a webinar. So it's really important to me to understand what's important to you. I've just, in the chat box, I've just put a link to our feedback form. If you could click on that, there in the feedback form as well, there is the opportunity for you, if you want to follow up on this, if you want some accountability or you want to find out more about coaching, then there's the opportunity in that to book a complimentary coaching session for an hour or so. No charge, no strings, no straps, just a complimentary coaching session to look at you and your business, to help you find out a little bit more about coaching and about how it might help you. And my guarantee to you is you'll leave that with some hints and tips to move your business forwards, or I'll pay you for your time. How's that for a guarantee? Or a complimentary taster session for one of our group programs that again will help you with some hints and tips and introduce you to some other business owners. Which one you do depends on where you are in your business. You know, if you're a smaller business at the moment, or you're a solopreneur, or you're just getting started, or it's just you and maybe one other person, then a group coaching program will probably be better. So one of the taster sessions for that will probably be better for you. If you're a more established business and you've got 4 or 5 employees, then maybe a one-to-one complimentary session would probably be better focus for you moving forwards. So on the feedback form, it gives you the opportunity to look at those and check what you'd like to do, as well as giving me some feedback, obviously. And just while you're filling that feedback form in, I just want to show you a quick video that tells you why other people are clients of Action Coach, if that's okay with everybody. When this starts, can you just give me a hands up so let me know you can hear it?
So for anybody looking to hire an action coach, I would definitely 100% recommend it. I was very skeptical to begin with, but I'm completely sold on what they can help you achieve within your business.
We saw results with Action Coach within the first week. It was instant and fantastic. Action Coach has helped me grow a team that believes in my culture and values.
We've moved from a turnover of 1 million to a turnover of just under 4 million, and profitability has increased enormously.
They ask you the questions that maybe you don't want to answer, that challenge you in the right places, and I think make you realise the bits and pieces that maybe you don't see being in the business day to day.
Our sales 12 months before Action Coach were 1.3 million. With Action Coach now they're 2.8 million.
And what it did, it actually focused our minds, made us sit down, think about what we wanted, where we were going.
They really understood what position I was in and where I wanted to take the business.
Our net profit previously was 66,000 and during coaching it's gone up to 200,000.
If you're serious about building your business, give it a go. You've got nothing to lose.
It's great to go on holidays and know that everything is ticking along and working without me there.
The core foundations that it puts in place that you may already think that you have nailed down, I can almost guarantee you don't.
It's not just about your business and making money and what you want to do going forward. It's about how you improve as a person, how you improve around others, how your management and your staff look at you. And I would strongly recommend using an Action Coach.
And the profit has gone up 530% since we started coaching. So a real big difference.
I now work on the business, not in the business, and I work far less hours than I've ever worked, which actually really has given me some amazing family time.
If you do the same thing over and over again, you're not going to get a different result. You've got to change something. If you want a different result, then you've got to do something about it. An Action Coach will allow you at your pace to do what it is you want to do.
Being in a business is very insular, and having somebody from outside and keeping you on track with what you're planning to do has certainly helped. I feel that all businesses could benefit from Action Coaching.
There you go, we paid them all. So if anybody's got any questions, we've got 2 or 3 minutes left. If you've got that link, please do click on the link and fill the feedback form. That'd be really appreciated if you could. And as I say, if you do want a complimentary session or a tasty session, there's an opportunity to book onto our next webinar on there as well. So.
Okay, well, I'll in the follow-up email, I'll circulate Paul's contact details so that you might have questions you want to put to him directly as well. Are you happy for me to share the slides, Paul, in that email as well?
Yeah, no worries.
Great. If you want to re-watch any of the webinar, it'll be up on YouTube. If not by the end of today, then certainly at some point tomorrow, and I'll include the link to that in the follow-up email as well. Can we just have a round of applause, please, for Paul? Do find him on LinkedIn, and when you see the webinar later on LinkedIn, do share it as well, because I think it's good to spread it far and wide. I'm sure lots of tips in there that we can all find useful and relate to. Thanks very much, Paul.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a brilliant week. Cheers.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.